Everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, August 6th. We started a little late and I'm struggling to get victories on the European account, so I've got one done and I'm probably going to have to do some things off screen, so I'm going to switch over to the Americas account and let's start playing there. Now, one of the viewers wanted to play me on 1 versus 1, and that was quite a while ago, so apologies for that. If he's still online and he plays on the Americas account, I will still certainly accept friend requests and play him. I think we've got daily quests here that synchronize with some of that. Yeah, that works pretty well. Let's see. So we're first time I think I've seen somebody play Destiny now that they've integrated that. I can't re-roll any of these, so I must have re-rolled these later last night. So 2 victories of any kind, destroy 25 minions. I can do that pretty easily, and then doing the Spelunky stuff. The Spelunker quest is a little bit of extra challenge. So we'll stick with Spiteful Priest and just play and try to get victories. I'm also kind of in a weird position because there wasn't a ton of news, so I see the Humble Bundle store at the far right of my page, so if I just go at the regular speed I'll probably be done, maybe even a little bit earlier, and I'm not sure I have any special conversation to have otherwise. Yeah. So Gematsu has an article, Bunny Must Die Chelsea and the 7 Devils has a PS4 physical edition now available in Japan. This is kind of weird because it seems like this game came out and I missed it for the PS4 digitally. I don't know what kind of game it is, but apparently it's getting like a physical edition. It says it's an improved version of the PC dungeon crawling action game Bunny Must Die Chelsea and the 7 Devils. So let's actually play. See if I can find this on Steam and see if there's a review. Yep. It's mixed reviews, 68% of 235 user reviews. It came out September 26, 2013. And it's supposedly a Metroidvania platforming game.
I wonder.
I think maybe that's why I missed this game, is it's just incredibly old getting a new release on the PS4. It's selling itself as having retro graphics, but it's really, I mean, what does that mean these days?
Right away.
It's just yeah, it's from a no-name publisher, it's from a no-name developer. Let's see, June 27th, there's a recent update that says Bunny Must Die project in development with Way Forward is officially cancelled. So apparently they were trying to make a continuation of the game and it was cancelled June 27th. And then June 27th it also says it's now fully Windows 10 compatible, which
Right away.
so they're trying to sell this like it was a underground hit of a game, but I don't think it really is. It's like the all-time peak of players were 52 players according to Steam charts, and today's peak was 2 players. It says the average play time is about 6 hours. The first recommended review says this game is a rage game, no thanks. 3 damage to everybody else. Let's go and kill this for no reason. Here's a review that says it's less offensive than Metroid Other M.
This guy's toast.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing more that says, like, if their way forward canceled it or what. Yeah, so that was an interesting, I guess, blast from the past. You certainly don't get a lot of that where there's a story that talks about older games. So games can fall through the cracks and then they're basically never remembered. And that's part of the problem with the video game industry, just being constantly flooded with new games. And it's one of the rare reasons why remakes and remasters are much more acceptable in the video game industry than, say, the movie industry or the book industry. It's just because of the vast majority of good quality content that's always coming up. Rock Paper Shotgun has an article, Twitch brings back charity campaign, hashtag create for the kids. Twitch, it says Twitch are once again partnering with crowdfunding website Tiltify for their 3rd annual hashtag create for the kids. I've never heard of Tiltify. That's a dangerous word to say out loud, in case you mispronounce it. I'm supposed to be killing enemies, by the way, and I don't think I'm doing too many of that. It's going to the U.S. branch of Save the Children, a charity focused on kids' welfare worldwide. Last year the campaign raised over $56,000, which is way less than Awesome Games done for like $6 million. See, it's an embarrassingly small amount. And I don't know if that really is any real indication of just how little money is actually around Twitch. That Twitch pretends like it's a competitor to YouTube, but while I know Ninja is probably making a lot of money streaming on Twitch, I think a much higher percentage of people streaming on Twitch are making no money or little money compared to the people streaming on YouTube or putting up videos on YouTube. So I could be totally wrong about that, but it seems like that's the case. Either way, this charity, like, they've really got to get up to a $5 or $6 million mark. Otherwise, they're just embarrassing themselves. Money is money, of course. Alright, we've got a game on Steam called Math Fun, Play and Learn. I have no idea how you would ever vet a kid's game that's educational on Steam. I think this is one of those rare cases where it might be worth it to have a agency that their only job is recruit a dragon or summon a dragon. Let's see what this does.
Snuggles, fetch.
Revenge.
So Math Fun, it doesn't look crazy. It doesn't look bad. So I guess if reviews were to be trusted, it's $4.99. It's English only. It doesn't look like it's a troll game, but it may still not be worth it. It's from, however, a developer, now that I'm looking at the other things that they've made, that has pretty much tried this and several other things, like Horse Racing 2016, which is their only game that's negatively reviewed. They've tried this before and nobody's reviewed their games. Yeah, I think there needs some vetting that needs to be done, because teachers just don't have time to
Revenge.
They don't have time to play the games from beginning to end and make sure that 100% of the time there's there is a nothing offensive and nothing in-educational, de-educational, I guess you would say. Yeah, we made good progress there. We made jump back to the European account. Let's see. This is weird. Like, all today, every single PC Gamer article has not talked about any game at all. It's almost like their editor-in-chief just woke up in a bad mood and they said, this week we're not going to write anything about video games. And this doesn't feel like so much that they're pushing some other narrative. It's just kind of like they're not doing anything, like they took the week off. However, this PC article certainly has a narrative coming from PC Gamer. Sexuality and gender in science fiction games 2 days ago. Curators behind games like Fallout New Vegas, Red Strings Club, Sub-Serial Network, and Extreme Meat Punks Forever talk about how they've explored mature themes in their works. Except with the exception of Fallout New Vegas, none of those games have been impactful at all. Like, I've heard of the Red Strings Club, probably from PC Gamer. I've never heard of Sub-Serial Network or Extreme Meat Punks Forever. Never even heard about them. So that, just from the word go, is weird. Like, you've grouped together some of the creators behind Fallout New Vegas, probably the best Fallout game, with people who are nowhere on their level. Let's see. The first bit of this article says, in 1992, Microprose released Rex Nebular and the Cosmic Gender Bender. Which, okay. And then the second paragraph says, in 2007, Mass Effect, the Asari are a monogender alien species. Which, alright.
Right away.
So you found 2 incidences of gender being mentioned in, let's see, how many years? Let's see, 8 plus 7, 15 years. We found 2 examples in 15 years.
Right away.
It's hardly bolstering the narrative that gender is always an issue. And see, this, really what this is, I imagine, is they wanted an article with Fallout New Vegas in the title so that they could talk about these other games that I've never heard of.
For the crusade!
That's kind of all this is. I'm streaming through this article, I'm looking at the pictures, and I don't want to read every word of it, because not only am I going to be irritated by what PC Gamer is saying, I'm going to also be irritated that they've wasted my time talking about this for kind of no reason.
Right away. Do my bidding.
There must have been games that came out. Dead Cells came out this week. They could have done 2 or 3 articles about that. Could have been talking about games that came out last week. I'm kind of scrolling here. Let's just go back to the title and see. Ignoring the article, as it seems like it's a pointless article. Sex and gender in science fiction games. Sexuality and gender in science fiction games. Which, okay, sexuality is a different thing than sex. There's definitely a lack of mentioning of a lot of games, certainly. Like Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Definitely there. There is a probably easy comparison you can make of games where you can pick characters and pick the genders versus games where you can pick characters but you can't pick the gender. Because there's a lot of that. When you talk sexuality or anything sex, and you mention 0 Japanese games in the context of a video game conversation, you have purposely blinded yourself because, yeah, there's gender bending going on a lot in Japanese stories, and there's lots of sexuality certainly in Japanese stories, but it's always, or almost always, pro-sex sexuality, which is not what Western SJWs want to talk about or even admit exists. They are very anti-sex in a weird way. Like, the idea that a woman would want to, like, a woman like Bayonetta would want to dress sexy is not her choice as a character as she's written. It's still her being written via the male gaze, which is just ignoring all the bisexual and lesbian people who also might think Bayonetta is a sexually attractive character. So, yeah, as far as genders, there's a lot of characters that don't have genders. Pokemon is an interesting example where some Pokemon have genders. I don't think, at least originally, I don't think even now, though, that all characters have genders. I think there's still a lot of different Pokemon that only come in monogenders. I don't think there's a male or female Ditto out there, but maybe they've added that, so that could be a case. That would be a great example of, like, here's an old game that didn't have the RAM or time to program genders in every single characters, but they did it on some of them, and then they did it further. I can certainly give a long list in which gender plays no role whatsoever. It's just a character was picked. I can also, for example, point out things like Enslaved Odyssey of the West, I think was the name of the game, where you're playing as the Monkey King, or a character like the Monkey King, or echoing the Monkey King, and there's really no reason to be playing as him when the female character was a much cooler character, and she should have just been the person you were playing as. And there's some cases there. You could certainly make the argument that a lot of the Mario games fail even now to let you play as Princess Peach or Princess Toadstool.
Medicine insects.
You could easily have made Odyssey switch around on it, and Mario could have gotten kidnapped on accident instead of Princess Peach, and then Princess Peach played throughout the whole game with just the exact same abilities in Odyssey. Would have been really easy to do that, and yet that didn't happen.
Shall not fall.
Moving on though, because I'm really just ranting about a better article I could write versus somebody else. Also though, I don't think I would write that article because I don't think it adds anything to a conversation. Like, that's something that if you were going to look at it and do it responsibly, you'd want to do a lot of research, and you'd almost want to make an entire paper out of it, not just a short couple of paragraphs conversation. You would want to do a conversation like that, just as do your research, have lots of examples, point out where you think it could be improved, point out where you think things are doing good. You would want to involve games from as many different countries and cultures as possible, and you would want to try to go in it without any bias, if at all possible. I'm not sure that even I can come from an unbiased position, because frankly the mainstream video game media and in-game designers, a lot of them are so annoying SJWs at them. Even I personally have knee-jerk desires to just ignore them and discredit them and argue with them. And arguing on the internet doesn't really accomplish much. So moving on, Gematsu has an article, Windjammers is coming to the Switch in 2018. Windjammers is an incredibly overhyped game. Really overhyped. And that is definitely from Giant Bomb and other sites just being super into it. It's not really even that good of a game, and there is clones of it already on Steam. I don't begrudge it coming to the Switch though. Switch certainly can have as many games on it as Nintendo will allow. It's just probably not super interesting. So I had earlier already talked about one character, well, two characters being added to Fighting EX Layer. There's another Gematsu article talking about Fighting EX Layer DLC character Terry Bogard, and Arya and Sharon have been teased, and some other characters. So the thing that's cool about Terry Bogard talking about sexuality and gender, is he's like the main character from the Fatal Fury series, and they put him in the Fatal Femme Fatale game. What is that one called? I'm gonna have to see if I can find it. They gender bent him and made a female version of him. Basically took his brain and put it into a female form to put him into an all-female fighting game. And nobody's really batting an eye about that at all. And that's rather cool. We don't have that happen a ton of times, but it certainly would make sense for fighting games in particular. It's like, hey, do you want to play a female version of E Honda? Sure, why not? Let's let that happen. I need to fight 3 dungeon run bosses in solo adventure now. So dungeon run, here we go. And we were already here. Let's see, what are we're playing a hunter deck. Started the game, 3 random secrets. Enemy minions cost 1 more, I'll take that. And what do we want here? I'll take small beasts and play. Evo is clearly coming up because all the fighting games are teasing things. So Dead or Alive is teasing Hitomi and Li Feng in just silhouetted form. Dead or Alive 6 is due out for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC early 2019. That's a Gamematsu article. PC Gamer has an article from 2 days ago. You can get the multiplayer brawler nightclub for free. All you have to do is sign up for their mailing list. I'm not sure it's really worth signing up for a mailing list and giving somebody your email or even a fake email to play a multiplayer platformer 2 to 4 player game that's basically a Smash Brothers clone. Like, it's not going to be one of the Smash Brothers clones that even has a slight chance, in my opinion, to succeed. These are tiny 8-bit pixel characters in knight's armors of different clothing, different colors, fighting. They seem to have small amounts of customization, but they're so small I doubt you'd even really notice. Platforms don't look particularly interesting, and they look like they have too many places where you can land. I'm not even sure you can get knocked off the side of the screen at all. This might just be a straight up get their health down to 0 and you win. Has swords and spears, but Night Club KNIGHT Space Club doesn't strike me as a worthy game to even own.
Embrace the twilight.
Let's see, Gamatsu has an article, 7 minutes of Monkey King Hero is back. Monkey King : Hero is back. China Joy 2018 gameplay. This is a almost certainly Chinese game. It's coming out for the PS4 in China in 2019 and other regions to follow. They are so obsessed with the Monkey King and that story. It's really down to the point where China kind of doesn't feel like it has much of a culture when you take out the major things. That's probably not true. It's probably just the way it feels like it gets translated. And some of that may very well have to do with the strict censorship laws in China, or the fact that China really is this giant country where like one city's or one county's or one area's culture probably isn't as connected. Different dialects and such are probably pretty difficult to understand even between people speaking the same Chinese. As far as this game goes, it looks fine. It looks like you're wandering around a decently designed area, and you don't seem to be running into too many enemies. And so if this is supposed to be like an MMO or something, it's gonna be pretty boring. If it's a single player and there's just one time you're gonna experience this and that's it, that'd be a little bit better.
To my side.
Let's go in. Now while I'm playing the dungeon runs, I have to remember that the rope won't come out, so if I get too busy, I will actually sit on the screen and not move forward. I kind of love to have this one, so I'm gonna take it. Seems like the Monkey King can grab explosive rocks and throw them, and he's getting what, 2 things, whether it's health and magic or
Let the
something
hunt
else,
begin.
maybe a currency.
Begone! Your magic finds no purchase here.
He's fighting a troll. This game doesn't look terrible, certainly. If it comes out to the west, I'll pay more attention to it. TechRaptor, very much limiting themselves to one article every few days, has an article. 20 years on, some of Konami's Beatmania arcade patents have expired. Apparently some of the Beatmania button layout patents or something have expired. What does that really mean? Probably not much. I don't think you might see a new Beatmania style controller being sold by some controller, third-party controller developer, but I think that's kind of it. There are, as I'm scrolling down here, it says Konami sued Roxor over In the Groove in 2005 and Pentavision over the DJ Max series in 2008. And Konami won the rights to In the Groove and all production ceased. Konami's lawsuit argued against Pentamax, however, argued that DJ Max copied elements of Beatmania despite the fact that DJ Max wasn't available in arcades at the time. So I don't think that one succeeded. Oh, this is the one he's going to put a counter spell every time I try to counter this spell, so I shouldn't have done that. Let's see, Pentavision settled out of court, transferring the Japanese sale of the DJ Max series to Konami. Additionally, Pentamax now has to pay a fee to Konami for every DJ Max game released. So, yeah, apparently Konami has had a death grip on DJ style games, and I guess that would explain why there's a little bit fewer of them than you might think. Let's just keep on attacking and end the turn. Here's an interesting game on Steam. It's called Kink Shamed. One word, K-I-N-K-S-H-A-M-E-D. Follow Jackson and Morgan as they meet up with an old friends and new connections and demonstrate the new modeling venture. Demonstrate their new modeling venture is a laugh riot. It's tagged as sexual content, nudity, indie casual RPG. It's a RPG Maker game. There is this comic book series called Sunstone that follows people who are in the bondage, sadomasochism, in almost a fashionable, fictitious BDSM world. And it covers that probably a lot better than this game and its MS Paint graphics. So yeah, this is ridiculous just for the format you're choosing and the level of animation you can draw, which is not much. Let's see. If I do this and then do this,
My magic
I wonder if
is
counterspell
yours.
will work then.
Oh dear.
Like,
Job's done.
one of the elements in these King Shamed screenshots is a lot of characters getting their feet tied in the stocks in a public area, and it really does just look like it's a public area. And that's not like a super popular fetish. it seems like the fighting in this RPG is actually sleeping with people. But the graphics are so bad, it's A, not going to be very informative as far as kinks, B, it's not going to be very well animated. If your opinion is to just try and get your rocks off on it, you're not going to succeed there. As a game, it fails because it's an RPG Maker game. It's 25% off for $1.49. If this same story was just written as a comic book, like Sunstone, which is more what I'd recommend for that, you would do much better. And let's see if this developer has made anything else. Apparently not. So forever your company is going to be aligned with Kink Shame, the bad-looking, pandering game. Take that one. And I think I'll just take more of the small creatures over here. Yeah, King Shamed also seems to really only know about tickling people, tying them up with rope. It doesn't seem to even be super informed into the variety of BDSM. And when you go into fiction, you can certainly create your own stuff and invent new things that don't even exist. And there doesn't seem to be any of that. Next game we have on Steam is called EW-WE, so East-West-West-East? Well, according to the thumbnail, it's like 3W-WE, so they're supposed to be reflections. And it says, EWE, E-W-W-E, is just a dream, a bad dream, which you find yourself in captivity in your own room, a bad dream which seems more like a reality sometimes. This is just tagged as an indie game with no other tags. Surely the developers of games can tag their own games with something more than that. Like, it seems like it's an escape the room game. It also seems like it is a almost completely black dark screenshot syndrome game, grayscale for everything. Let's see, what does this one do? Transform a minion into a random one that costs one more. Okay. Let's play this. Yeah, I see nothing that would make me want to pay the 99 cents for EWE. It's in English and Russian. Yep. It's really undeniable that there is at least one group of Russian-speaking people who are making low-quality games on Steam. At least one group. They could be going under a bunch of different accounts, but yeah, I see far too many games that are in English and Russian for that to be not the case. I also see far too many games that are in English and Chinese, or Chinese only, that are low quality games, and far too many games that are in English and Portuguese, Brazil, that are low quality games. I imagine all of those groups combined, though, probably are not as bad as the English only low quality games. So there's work that seems like it needs to be done all around. Let's see. Let's kill this. Do this. And do that. And then that. And then return. Rock Paper Shotgun has an article. Coffee Talk demo promises gorgeous laid-back storytelling. And I'm seeing a picture of a demon at a bar smoking and a green-haired girl at a bar. And it seems like it's a better-looking version of Valhalla, where you're mixing up drinks and getting stories. It's an itch.io game though, so certainly it's not something that I would play because it's not on Steam, and it's pay what you want so you can get it for free. There's no minimum there. If that's how you, if that's how much you think it's worth. Let's see.
Oh dear.
Why are these guys, why do they have +1? Oh, that's why. Okay. And yeah, this is a rock, paper, shotgun, specifically mentioning Valhalla, which was a game that was overhyped in a way to overhype this game. I would say this game looks like it's better animated, but it's probably really, really short. Gematsu has an article, Common Rider Climax Scramble coming to Asia in English. So I don't know if that is a just immediate admission that it's not coming to the West. I think probably if you see something like that, you can probably take it to mean that. Let's see, do I have enough to win? Yes, I do.
There is another far below.
I guess there's nothing really else to take from that. See, PC Gamer has an article. Iron Maiden's hero has come a long way since the 1990s. I don't know if that's to mean visually or in some other ways. I think it means visually, and it's showing off like some screenshots. Of course, Iron Maiden, the game has. I think this is the first game with Iron Maiden, and that it was from a comic book, or maybe there was a previous Iron Maiden. Let's see. She is the character from the game Bombshell. I guess. Evolving character design of Shelley Bombshell Harrison is her name. And she's been conceived as the star of her own game back in 1997, inspired by Barbed Wire, both the Pamela Anderson movie and the comic book published by Dark Horse. When the game's creators left 3D Realms, the decision was made to have Bombshell instead debut in Duke Nukem Forever, and that then get her own spin-off. Oh, so she is actually a Duke Nukem Forever character. Well, was she actually in Duke Nukem Forever, the released version? Because this is kind of an interesting timeline of she was a character design. It wasn't until 2015 that Bombshell was revived for its own game. While those early concepts had her essentially as a sexed-up female version of Duke Nukem, which I don't think, gender aside, I don't think Duke Nukem as a character works either way. All 5 of those cards get turned into dust. It's going to be really hard for my main account to get a complete classic collection. I probably should just use dust for that. Let's switch back to the European account, since we had some more work to do it. Let's see. So, yeah, apparently Iron Maiden as a character is...
The tavern's
But really, this is just an animator drew a character. They liked the animation of that character, and then they tried to get her in the game for years and years and didn't succeed, and so they finally got her into a game. Does that really mean she's the same character? No, they're giving her different stories, different backgrounds. They very possibly are going to give her a different name, even. Or even if she does have the same name, it's at best a insider reference. You know what? I probably should just play on casual instead of ranked. Well, as much as I rag on PC Gamer, I will say that this article at least has some pictures that are interesting and an interesting story to tell. So I would recommend checking out this article if you're interested. Iron Maiden's hero has come a long way since the 1990s. Of course, also it's just a hype-building advertisement for the game Iron Maiden, which, you know, I'm willing to get around to playing it eventually, but I'm not super hyped on it. PC Gamer also has an article. Alter Army, the game made by two 16-year-olds, has a new trailer and release date. I think I may have seen this already. It was out on Steam. Yeah, I talked about this game already. It's available on Steam August 6th. So, yeah. Play this in the trailer. Yeah, I guess there's nothing to really say there. I did want to say though, you should be careful about any time they say a game is made by 16-year-olds or made by an 8-year-old, even made by a couple of 18-year-olds. Like, there's always somebody giving help there. It's either a very outstanding teacher of some sort, or it's a parent who works in the industry, or a parent who happens to have connections with the news media. There's something more to this, and it is definitely advertising, not truth. Yeah, so honestly, if two 16s alone with no help whatsoever went and made a game, it wouldn't be that good. In the same way that the prototype for the game that eventually became Portal wouldn't have been that good of a game had Valve not stepped in and given them a lot of support and a lot of help.
You are the Shadow's puppet.
PC Gamer has another article, The Uncertain Future of Games Like Deus Ex and Dishonored. Immersive sims have been held up as the pinnacle of PC gaming design, but falling sales may mean the genre is endangered. I would argue that for the Deus Ex series and Dishonored series in particular, that is the same parent company that is running both of them. So there's other reasons, particularly that those specific series were not given the amount of advertisement and support that they should have been given. I don't think that Deus Ex is really going to go anywhere. Just because Mankind Divided wasn't as good as Human Revolution, I think you just had to look at the entire Deus Ex series and realize that, yeah, that series has never been as much of a big time seller as they wanted it to be. I think Dishonored is doing fine, and I really think the PC Gamer in this article is probably prophesizing some doom and gloom. I think we're kind of more in a world where more and more the video game playing audience is getting bigger and bigger, and we're not really going to tolerate holes in the market. If there is no new Deus Ex game made, somebody out there, some AA, some single A developer is going to make something like Deus Ex and sell. And you may notice that Prey is not getting mentioned in this article, where Prey is also the same company that, well, let's see. Like, oh wait, no, Deus Ex is Square Enix and Dishonored is Bethesda. Yeah, I'm confused there. Get my facts straight every once in a while, that'd be helpful. Yeah, but Prey is another Bethesda game that is basically the same thing, and they're still supporting that. Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, if none of the mainstream games like Deus Ex or Dishonored are made, all these sort of, I don't even know what you describe them as. They're kind of uniquely different RPG thief-like games. If there's a gap in the market, somebody else is going to fill that. Speaking of a gap in the market, there seems to be one at this rate for Bomberman games, because there's a game on Steam called Bomber 95. Oops, I should have attacked there. Which seems like it is a fast-paced multiplayer, online multiplayer Bomberman clone. It looks pretty good, actually. $9.99 seems like it's a really expensive clone. It's up to 9 players. Ability to play hot seat with friends or with online players online. 9 unique levels, so not a lot of levels there. So I've seen a lot worse Bomberman clones, but I don't actually see anything here that would make me personally want to play one of those games. Let's see.
I'll take him out.
But yeah, so I'm not gonna wishlist Bomber 95, but it doesn't look bad. If you are into Bomberman, that'd be it. You know, we haven't seen any visual novels, and I am almost done with the stream. Like, the first visual novel, and I don't even know if this actually is a visual novel, the first thing to even look like a visual novel is this game called Anycon-Animal Complex Sheep's Path. It says a romance comedy fantasy visual novel. So it seems like each character has a human version and an animal version. Let's see, if we do this, will we get excess mana? No, we won't.
For the wild.
It seems like it's always going to be human on human romance and dating, which I think probably is not what the first one is. Oh look, there is a point where it's human on sheep in one of the screenshots, at least in the conversations. So it seems like these people can transform from a human form to an animal form. Let's see. I bet this is an English-only game. Yes, it's not from Japan. Animation style doesn't look bad at all, though. It is quite the niche game, though. It's 10% off for $7.19. Says 3 endings, rated everyone. Which, okay, that's a little weird. Draw another card. Let's see. says note this version is sheep's path only. So apparently they're trying to sell the game multiple times in a sleazy way. Yeah, this developer has a lot of visual novels, but I've never heard of any of them, and doesn't seem like they're probably that good. So I'd say probably on every way in which Anacon is trying to sell itself, it's probably not doing it well. I don't know if they know their target audience or just willfully not targeting their target audience. Let's see.
For the wild. Time waits for no one.
Turn. Next game we have on Steam is called Dead Forest. It came out August 4th, 2018. It's a first-person mystical thriller, it says. What it really is a wander around the forest asset flip game. It doesn't look terrible because asset flip games don't look terrible these days, but it's certainly not good. It's 10% off for 89 cents, and it has a not recommended review that says really not much of the game. All of the books are incredibly easy to find. I found them all and finished the game in 12 minutes. Good thing I only paid $1. Gematsu has an article, Chrono Trigger for PC 5th update now available. Let's
engaging TC-130 mental dislocator.
And let's kill something. Damage to the minion. And do that. And in return, the final major update. So, with the 5th patch, key binding function implemented, an extra section has been added for movies, illustrations, sound, and endings, adjustments to various features. Let's see. And bug fixes. So, at this point, if this really is the final major update for Chrono Trigger, now would be the time to go back and see if Chrono Trigger has any better reviews in the next 30 days or something. But honestly, I'll probably wait till the next summer sale, not even the next big sale, because there's a possibility that there is going to be a bigger big sale in Halloween. Like, I don't know if I'm really going to be buying anything during that time, though. Speaking of something I'm not going to buy, we have a game on Steam called Kings that is a complete and total ripoff of the game Reigns. It's arguably, though, maybe better implemented for widescreen area, because you are you have more of a menu just telling you what your stats levels on certain things are. I imagine if it's the exact same cards and the exact same story as Reigns, then it could be taken down for copyright infringement. Otherwise, this is just very aesthetically similar, and clearly this is designed to hurt the Reigns brand. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is taken down, DMCA'd, or in some other way struck down. You usually don't see on Steam blatant copies of other games. or they're clones of particularly old games. Like, so Bomber 95 is a blatant clone of Bomberman, which is a simplistic concept, but you don't see this game is directly a Metroid game with Metroids and Samus Aran and all of that. That doesn't usually happen. Not to the point where it leads confusions. Kings is 40% off for 59 cents. I imagine it's incredibly short and only designed to trick you into buying it, and you'll be very disappointed when you actually start playing the game.
The light protects me.
Let's see. Next, we have a game called Universally Loved. It says talk your way out of the apocalypse. It says sexual content, adventure, indie simulation. And then I just see a bunch of shapes. And it seems like maybe it's a bullet hell shooter game or just a random assortment of things. It certainly doesn't seem like you're talking always. Yeah, this is a really weird looking game, but also seems to be rather basic.
Choose soon.
And for that reason, I don't think I would want to. Like, I don't think I'd want to play this game. It doesn't have anything interesting visually to it. It's too all over the place. It's 10%. 10% off for $1.79. Yeah, I don't see anything there. Okay, so I talked about this article a while ago, and
so many options.
I didn't really get around to mentioning it because I forgot the name of it. So, for the game SNK Heroines, which is a fighting game they're coming out with SNK female characters, there is a Fatal Frame character named Terry, who is a male character. He's like the main guy. I'm sure people who play the Fatal Frame series are totally familiar with him. But they wanted him in the SNK Heroes game. I guess they figured that would sell a little bit. So they transformed him into a female version and just gender bent him. And I think he's probably the last heroine for SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy to be announced. And that certainly is a way to go with it. And of course, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy was always supposed to be just a funny, over-the-top fighting game. Something that would let them do some crazier things that you probably couldn't do in regular SNK games. Give them crazy costumes that people will be more than happy to use in the photo mode, which they're showing off on the trailer.
Here we go.
So yeah, I don't know what to really say there. Just gender bending, not a problem for the Japanese, apparently. And actually, it never was a problem. It's been done a lot, and they just localized it out for the Western world. Gamma Citra has a list article. Get a job. Defiant Studios is hiring a lead engine programmer. This is a New York City, New York job listing for Defiant Studios. I'd like to see who Defiant Studios is. Let's see. If we do this and then play this again and do this, and then play this,
I fight.
and that,
Here we go.
that, and then return. Let's see, Defiant Studios. Let's go to the website and see what they've made. And some of these websites are just terrible. Yeah, I see no listing here. They say they're a team working on the next generation on console, PC, AR, and VR global games. And that's it. Like, apparently they've never worked on any game. They've got nothing behind their name. Let's see.
Your magic shall not
this.
save.
Here we go.
Do we want to do a little control? I guess. Do that. And yeah, I looked at board games that were on sale on Steam and added some more. I still think probably Tabletop Simulator is all you really need. Maybe I'd get Hearthstone and cover that. I'm on the Humble Bundle store now, and let's see if there's actually a game bundle. There's ebooks for game design and puzzlecraft. There's the esports bundle. I have no interest in even clicking on that. Seems like they really are just all about the Humble Monthly thing. That's all they care about right now. It's been months and months and months. Let's switch over to Twitch and see if there's anything there. I'm just gonna hit this, play this.
I don't need any of you.
Here we
This.
go.
Yep, nothing on Twitch Prime. Okay, good. And so then I can go back to Twitter and just see if there's anything. Not a lot of news over the weekend, clearly. As I'm looking at it, we got through all the news in 3 hours, and there's not a lot of games that came out of that news. Only,
Protects me.
unless I'm forgetting, only like one visual novel at all was released. So maybe there's something happening in the background on Steam where they're doing something a little bit different. Oh, I could have played that better. I could have played that way
Already
better.
attacked.
Let's see.
Tazdingo! Yeah!
Let's see. So, Your Game has an article. Breath of the Wild has finally been given a spot in the official Zelda timeline. Like, honestly, that's basically who cares territory. I should play it out of order again. I should have done this and then this. Well, I should have killed the one, played this, then done that.
Here we go.
Let's see. New promo for Sonic Mania Plus. Varnier of the Dragon Star has a 3-minute trailer. This must be a new game. Come on, do it right. This. There we go.
Here we go.
Frostpunk's free people and automations updates let you name your suffering citizens in Frostpunk. Let's see. Phil Spencer is retweeting Compulsion's games for We Happy Few's release instead of, you know, the guy in charge of Gearbox or Gearbox official.
Here we
Phil
go.
Spencer, I don't believe, works for Gearbox, or maybe he works for Compulsion Games. That might make sense. Gigabyte launches a gaming mouse with adjustable weights and 1600 DPI sensor. For anybody interested in that. Red Letter Media has gotten flagged for putting out a video advertising their commentary track for deceptive practices, and they went to Twitter, and YouTube on Twitter said, we'll look into it, and then they came back and said, we sent you a private DM, which probably means that they looked into it and said, yep, it was deceptive practices, or here's the issue. They really don't want these small videos on YouTube anymore that are pushing people away from a Google service. So if Red Letter Media is selling or giving away their commentary through Patreon or something, that may just be too much. See, PC Gamer has an article that Dead Cells is often frustrating but fantastic action platformer. Let's see. We've got Light Rider as a new game. It doesn't look that good. There's a colorful mod from PC Gamer. Spice up your No Man's Sky Next Planets with this colorful mod. Interesting. Keep on playing. This will probably be the last game we play. I don't see any reason to put this any further. There's a trailer for a game called Bee Simulator that PC Gamer is talking about. And see, I started a little late, so there really shouldn't be too many new things to talk about. There's a game called Gym Rush. But yeah, most of this, if not all of this, is going to boil down to just a few little stragglers and add-ons. As far as the Twitter news stories. Yep. And then on Wednesday, I'm gonna take all of tomorrow off and not record anything, but I might record something later tonight. And because of covering the cards and my teeth actually hurting from streaming in the middle of the night, covering all the new cards for Boomsday, I took the entire day off. Sort of. I scheduled videos and I'm now caught up on videos, so I'm just trying to upload more videos. Let's see. Let's see. Play this, I guess.
Here we go.
That, in the jam. Yeah, since I'm now doing the Halloween month, I want to put all my Hearthstone videos in one big group and then have Halloween month. And I definitely should, as usual, forever behind. I definitely should try to get all of the Halloween month done early, and I just keep on churning along as far as all of that goes. Yeah, I don't believe there's actually anything more on Twitter. So now Your Gamer article with a different perspective on the Chrono Trigger PC port. Let's see. I got all the daily quests done, except for one more victory, which I can do off screen. And frankly, if there is something on Twitter that I'm missing, I'm just gonna miss it. Like, yeah. I don't think there's anything I am missing, but if I am, I'm just gonna miss it. And so people would have to let me know. Apologies to Matthias Diablo, or Matthias. I didn't quite get it, how you pronounce that right. He wanted to play me 1 versus 1 about 3 hours ago, and he didn't stay around long enough, I guess, to friend me, or didn't know how to friend me, or wait until I was on the Americas account, which I assume is where he was. That's gonna be it for this stream. Pretty good. We got everything done. Yeah, got a little bit of conversation. It is a Monday, so I guess more conversation would have been helpful and nice. That's it though. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me with YouTube. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, I'm asking people to friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.